वेलकम चौधरी साहब, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार मिस्टर, गुड मॉर्निंग।
हाँ, गुड मॉर्निंग। सत्यनारायण सर, सत्यनारायण सर वेलकम। अनूप दास सर,
गुड मॉर्निंग।
रामास्वामी सर, सभी को वेलकम है, नमस्कार है सभी को, नमस्ते। और आज पहला सत्र में डॉक्टर एस पॉल राज, IFS रिटायर्ड CF, एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन, चेन्नई स्नेक पार्क ट्रस्ट, चेन्नई, जुड़ चुके हैं सर क्या? डॉक्टर एस पॉल राज, हाँ, वेलकम सर। पॉल राज साहब वेलकम। KS अनूप दास साहब,
यस सर।
हेलो। हाँ,
यस।
तो सभी लोग आ चुके हैं इस सेशन के, और सेशन प्रारंभ करते हैं। सबसे पहले सभी से नमस्ते, वेलकम सबका। और ये आज संडे 31 अक्टूबर का फर्स्ट सेशन, चेयरपर्सन मिस्टर सौरभ चौधरी, एडिशनल प्रिंसिपल चीफ कंजर्वेटर ऑफ फॉरेस्ट एंड मेंबर सेक्रेटरी वेस्ट बंगाल जू अथॉरिटी कोलकाता, चेयरपर्सन एंड को चेयरपर्सन डॉक्टर KS अनूप दास, हेड कंजर्वेशन बायोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट, MES मम्पाट कॉलेज, मलाप्पुरम, केरला। इमिनेंट स्पीकर डॉक्टर S पॉल राज, IFS रिटायर्ड CF, एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन, चेन्नई स्नेक पार्क ट्रस्ट, चेन्नई। सबका वेलकम है सर, welcome all of you, and I am requested to Mr. Saurabh Chaudhary sir, please chair the session and introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Paul Raj.
Good morning, everyone. It's indeed my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. S. Paul Raj, IFS retired, a legend by himself in the field of conservation biology. Dr. Paul Raj retired from Indian Forest Service as Conservator of Forests in 2011. Sir really had an illustrated career for all the persons like us who are associated with some kind of zoo management, wildlife management, and habitat management. Dr. Paul Raj has more than 38 listed publications, and he has traveled to more than 20 odd countries, participating in different trainings to build up his skill. He is the recipient of more than 7 awards, and he has got more than 4 books authored by him. He has undergone 12 professional Sorry, since I'm not in Kolkata, I'm traveling outside. My net is breaking sometime. So it's my privilege again to reintroduce Dr. Paul Raj. As I was just making giving a glimpse of his illustrated career. We are all waiting to hear from you, sir. It will be indeed our great privilege to listen to you. So please, sir, let the session begin, and we are all ears to listen to your experience and knowledge. Over to Dr. Paul Raj. Let the session begin. Sir, you can unmute yourself and let the session begin.
डॉक्टर पॉल राज सर, अनम्यूट करें अपने। डॉक्टर पॉल राज सर, यस, Please unmute.
Dr. Paulraj, please unmute yourself and let the session begin. Dr. Paulraj, please unmute yourself so that the session can begin. The session is open now. Dr. Paulraj.
Feed on the red layer. Unmute. You unmute. Red one. Below. In your monitor, you can just see red one. Video and mic.
Okay.
Red layer.
You're on mute now, sir.
Yeah.
You can please begin the session. Thank you.
Is it audible? Is it audible?
Audible.
Okay. Okay.
So you're audible. You're audible.
Okay. So thank you for Satish, for your nice introduction. I'm really very happy to interact with you all and share my wide experience in zoo management, especially in zoo management. I worked in zoo for more than 6-7 years. The zoo and other sanctuaries and national parks. Most of my service, as you have seen in my biodata, is with reference to wildlife management. So I'm being working in zoo. It is one of the mini zoo in Chennai and chairman, and I'm continuing my service even after retirement, attending various seminars all around the world, and member of the Indian associate group, and as a member I'm regularly attending the program. And this one program I very much like.
There must be some issue with the audio system. I'm unable to hear you.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you. Now you're audible. Please carry on.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So whenever you find difficulties, that's my background, and I am really happy to thank Mr. Mishraji and Dr. Satyanarayana, who introduced Mr. Mishra's strenuous effort in bringing all the wildlife persons of India together in one umbrella. And it's a way, I know how it is difficult to have all the people together in one umbrella under this seminar. I'm really thankful to you all, and I am very happy to interact with you about my experience. The basic thing in wildlife management um, is awareness creation. I want to share my experience on 30 years back with you. Very interesting. When I was zoo in Wanderloo Zoo in India, Tamil Nadu, it's one of the biggest zoo in India. I was taking my forest minister in this is 30 years back, 35 years back, in the early mid 80s. So when I was showing the captive breeding success of lion-tailed macaque, he was from that area, in wildlife area. He was, oh, this is the monkey. You are protecting and you are prohibiting all the forest and other activities in this area. After all, this monkey is here. Is very well happy. Why don't you keep all the monkeys here and leave the forest to the people? So that was the wonderful experience I had with the forest minister those days. So I thought of taking creating awareness is more important than anything. The conservation we are all talking, but unless people are aware of what is importance of wildlife, they may not come forward because we have different field of people. From there are some there may be some biology people. There are other people who may not be aware of what is biology and what is wildlife and all. So it is for them we have to create awareness. When I interact with many IAS people and other engineers and all, they are very surprised to know many of the facts about the wildlife. So the zoo is a very prominent, very important place, and it is playing a major role in creating awareness. And being chairman of the small zoo, I give more emphasis to zoo education because we people um, being sixth sense, we question everything. Unlike the other animals, other than human beings, they never question the nature. We are the people questioning the nature. What happened? I am supreme, and when human beings need all protection, we are the first in the world. All these things, but without knowing the real fact behind our survival. So it is very, very important to create awareness among all the people, including scientists. Uh, I want to share my Kenarana.
You can go to down arrow as share. Present now. You just press that below. After the video, red one, there will be arrow. Present now. Present now. You click that one.
Present now, yeah.
Yeah. You just
Present now. The share is not there. Your entire screen.
yeah, present now. No. You can choose a window. A window.
Window. Present now.
Yeah,
Present
a
now.
window.
Entire screen.
Yeah, window. Window you choose. A window. Right?
Share.
You get entire screen, a window. No?
Yeah.
A window.
Yeah.
No, you have to open your PPT.
Yeah. Okay. Sharing PPT. Where is it is coming.
No, you do one thing. Stop sharing. Stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you go to your folders.
Folder. Also folder. Yeah, my presentation is here.
You are considered open it.
I opened it.
Now you go back to presentation. Share. Present now. Press the present now.
The present now is the entire screen is coming with the window.
Present now.
Yeah. Is it coming?
Yes. Yeah, it's coming. Now you choose
Okay.
slideshow. You choose the slideshow for
Okay.
maximum.
So sorry. Of course, I had a mock session earlier, but it's a little different now. Anyhow, I was telling about the importance of awareness program. The awareness is about knowing the fact and about dissemination of the message and solving a problem or enriching the knowledge. For all these things, awareness is not meant for students alone. Even I am getting daily new things and knowing, enrich my knowledge. So one should not say that I know everything. Every day I have some deficiency of knowledge or like to know more and more about this. So unless we know more about the wildlife and the importance of nature and wildlife, we cannot disseminate the idea. So basic thing is a researcher or a talker or lecturer or professor must enrich their knowledge about the environment and forest and wildlife so that they can convince the local people of all level. The main question is for whom the awareness is needed. I was telling about all the people, general public they need. Yeah, type of. I am talking with you all. I don't know what are the audience, who are the audience, but of course they will be interested in wildlife. They have some knowledge about the wildlife. So for those, our presentation will be different. For officials, for politicians, I was telling politicians. Politicians are more important because they are policy makers and students. Students awareness is very, very important nowadays because we have a population, illiterate population, sufficient number of illiterate population in India. So these population unless they are literate and getting literacy, they may not have the chance of knowing about wildlife. A common public may not aware of the importance of wildlife. So um, students are when literacy comes, the students are the main focus. When 100% literacy comes, all the students will get the idea of the nature and wildlife. And the future population will have 100% awareness on wildlife. So we have to go for first the students group and 100% literacy group. Then only the future of India will have on 100% population, they know about the wildlife. So this is the basic thing with the basic things. Whenever I go, I concentrate on creating awareness about wildlife. Um, Even if you ask casually to any people, why should you preserve wildlife? Why should you conserve wildlife? All these things they ask. We have to convince them effectively. That is more important. Um, how to go about, first we have to tell the value of wildlife. What is the value of wildlife? That is more important. And how it is threatened. They are not aware that whether human people are actually threatening the wildlife and wildlife habitat. Was a simple example I want to share with you. When I was in the zoo, the hippo enclosure is a target for many visitors. Always hippo will be underwater, and everybody like to see the hippo and throw some stones. So every week when we are clearing, we collect um, um, uh, nearly 100 kg, 20 kg, 200 kg of stones thrown on the water. So what we want to know I thought some method to um, stop it. I collected all this material in a gunny bag and put in front of the enclosure and put a board. This is the stone thrown by you, visitors. Please don't throw the stone. So people are thinking that they are the only people doing this mischief. Everybody, when they came to know that it is done by most of the people, it was effective. So next week I saw a considerable reduction in the throwing of stones. So the thing is simple awareness, saying that this throwing stone is not only by you but so many people. Many people may not aware of that. So in such a way, our program should reach that every individual has a responsibility, positive responsibility. So we have to tell them in a convincing way for students, for common people, for politicians. Our um, talk should be little different. So these are the things I am going to share with you all what are who are the audience today watching my program, and they make use of this observation to disseminate their ideas to other people. Next is first we want to tell about the value of nature, wildlife, and biodiversity. All these things are interrelated. When we say wildlife, it includes plants and animals. When wildlife means nature. Wildlife means biodiversity. It is having all. It includes all plants and animals and their integration between them. So, when we talk of wildlife importance, we have to tell them in a phased manner about their common public, what they want. Yes, wildlife gives you good tourism and entertainment. Wildlife gives you medicine. There is genetic resources, ecological value, ecosystem services, learn from nature. All these things in a graded manner. Instead of putting so much scientific thing in their mind, we have to approach the awareness program in a simplified, easy way, um, so that they can understand. Tourism and entertainment. As the wildlife people and enlightened people, they may not aware. They may aware that there are so many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, and the wildlife tourism is nowadays a good attraction. Uh, of course, India is a very good tourist spot, but wildlife tourism is playing a major role uh, in the entertaining the public. So people first interest will be in entertainment, tourism and entertainment. So when we talk of the people about the entertainment, they will come forward to when they, how much time I'm left? Um, food value. Food value is nowadays we are thinking of the food value. Every we are of course we concentrate on few items of food, and there are so many items of food readily available, but we are not working on that. So diversity of biodiversity give not only food and nutrition, and medicinal value of biodiversity also available. Nowadays, because thanks to only the corona, people are much aware of the medicinal value of the herbal plants. Now, especially in Tamil Nadu, we practice herbal medicines, and there are a lot of awareness about the medicines. So, medicinal value of the wildlife is much more important, and we make use of that opportunity to tell about the medicinal value of the herbs and the wild plants. Just for example, if frog leg, although we are not taking frog leg, it's export is prohibited in India. In European countries, it's just a small one piece of food is consumed a lot of people, and it is earning um, a huge amount. Uh, so this is one example of how diversified our food requirements are. Um, this frog leg as a nutritious food. Of course, only cultivated frogs are used should be used for consumption. Again, the herbal plants. Herbal plants now it's getting importance day by day, and every year we are people are aware of the importance of medicinal plants, and of course there is a separate Ayush ministry. They are propagating the idea of medicinal plants. India, being a diversified country, it is practicing more herbal products. Of course, the pathetic condition is our products are exported, and they are doing the European countries are making value addition products and again selling to India. So we should come forward to make value added products, especially um, curcumin from turmeric and like that. So the future is very good for producing herbal products, and even if we can import, need not import and export our value-added product to other countries. Genetic diversity is very important. People may not aware whatever they are eating, it is originally came from the wild. For example, we are everybody is knowing the rice. The scientific name is Rice sativa. Uh, the real the ancestor is in the forest. One can see if you go inside the forest, you can see some grass-like thing, and they are they bearing the paddy, grains, the paddy. So this is originally called as Oriza nivera. And these are the plants. They have that original gene. They were exposed to various type of diseases and all. Even now, are surviving. If you want to produce a resistant variety, we have to go back to wild, bring the wild ancestry, the wild gene, and mix it with their domestic gene, and produce a pest resistant and um, uh, disease resistant varieties. So genetic resources are very important, and it's in future we have to go for the genetic resources um, whenever we feel the necessity of the wild genes. Environmental value. Environmental value is always, many people are aware of that the environment consists of air and other gases. And, we always think of the oxygen in the air. Of course, there is a carbon dioxide. Although oxygen is more, 21%, we always talk of many people are talking of the plants produce oxygen, and it is very essential. For your information, for many decades, there is no, in spite of all these pollutants, the oxygen level of the air did not change. Still, it is constant of about 21%. That means we have enough oxygen, and in spite of all these pollutants, all these things, the oxygen content cannot be changed. So we not much bother about the oxygen content. Yeah, of course, oxygen is needed. But the minute point not for carbon dioxide has more value than anything, any other gases. Now, although people may consider that what is going to do with the 0.04% of oxygen they have. So minute change of not 1% in the carbon dioxide level will have a great impact on um, the atmosphere. I need not elaborate because it is a very long lecture if we talk on the environmental pollution. So people must think the carbon dioxide is the major culprit in the pollution, although it's not. So how to reduce the carbon dioxide instead of how to increase the oxygen? How to reduce the carbon dioxide pollution is one must think of very seriously about this. The recent industrialization, all this development, we are going on increasing the carbon dioxide level. So there are so many international conferences, so many seminars and all to reduce the carbon level and sink the carbon and go for some alternatives. So this is one thing we have to concentrate more on, carbon sink. Ecosystem services. Ecosystem services is very important. Many may not aware. We always think of wildlife means a tiger, elephant, all the big things. Smaller insects are doing a very valuable service than sometimes major animals like tiger or elephants. I want to emphasize one point here um, about the importance of the little known um, plants and animals. The dung beetle, occasionally one can see a small tiny insect, how it is doing its duty in the environment. The dung beetle, there were methane evolution, methane pollution. Many of us are aware of that. Methane is a big pollutant in in our environment. That it is mainly come from the cattle and of course human beings. The cattle population produces a lot of methane, and that is seriously affecting our environment. So what this dung beetle is doing, as soon as the fresh dung is coming out, before exposing, because before the methane is coming out of the dung, the beetle um, uh, make it a round ball and keep it beneath the earth, and avoid liberation of the methane. Although it looks a small work, when millions of this insect is doing this business, there is one scientific report. The dung pads without the beetle produce methane emission 5 times higher than those with. So when that means it is reducing considerably the methane pollution by doing this duty. Of course, it is doing for some other purpose. At the same time, it is helping the environment to reduce considerably the methane pollution. So this is just an example. if you come across each and every insect, tiny insect to small mammals, they have their own duty in their surrounding environment. They never ask for uh, why should I do that. That is the difference between the human being and the animals. The animals they do perform their duty in their in a perfect way with the cooperation and coordination of the with the environment. So I want to emphasize a very interesting example so that people will recognize the importance of all wildlife, um, including insects. Uh, Wild boar in India it is a menace, but the service of wild boar is and there are in some of the states it is considered as a vermin, and there are some states the state law can kill wild boar. It is not the fault of the wild population. It is fault of the human being that we encroach upon their land. So we never bother in we obey, we go with the demand of the public and started killing wild boar. So the impact will not be revealed now. After 10 years or 20 years, the impact will come. For example, the wild boar, when it is in thousands numbers, when they are seeking their food, they are uh, making the earth by digging the earth in such a way that, of course, it is eating the uh, roots of grasses and some other herbs. By doing so, they make almost wild plowing. Inside the forest, no, we cannot plow. It's a plain ground. So these are the hundreds and hundreds of acres of land are plowed by the uh, wild boar, and thereby it enhance the soil fertility. At the same time, it regeneration is also whenever this is process going on, some the seeds are getting inside and got regeneration. That was the people. That was the thing going on in nature. Naturally, this is called the balance of nature. Only the human beings with the sixth sense they started doing all these actions against nature. So each and every animal other than human being is perfectly performing their duty in cooperation, in coordination with the nature, and they have share they have some share in the conservation of the environment. But we ignore them on their responsibility and started killing and started ignoring them. Again, about the elephants. This is a very interesting example in one African country. There were they considered the elephants are menace, and at one point of time they started shooting on hundreds of thousands of elephants. So what the people are on people demand they can kill the hundreds of thousands of elephants, and people were for some time they were happy. After 5 years or so, the people were attacked by the sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness is a common thing in African people. So the incidence of sleeping sickness has increased drastically after this incident. Then the scientists, the local people are not aware what is actual reason of sleeping sickness. So the real fact is the elephant were the herbs were responsible feeding the tsetse fly. The tsetse fly is the carrier of um, the brain fever parasite. So when the population of elephant, the herbs also population also reduced, increased. So because there is no elephant to control, so the tsetse fly get more food and their population increases drastically. So they again they resulted in the increase in the incidence of brain fever. Predict which is valuable, which is not valuable. Every animal, every insect, every herbs are all created by nature and surviving for millions of years, and it's serving the purpose, serving the nature. So this is a high time for us to enlighten the students and other people to recognize the service of the small insects and other unknown plants. So, gone over the days when we were uh, concentrated only on elephant, tiger, even tiger conservation is given much importance. Of course, by conserving tiger, all other chain of food chain is protected. That's how we are conserving the tiger. So when we are conserving tiger, all other animals depending, plants and animals are depending on the tiger and other subsequent below food chain are all protected. That's why we are conserving the nature as it is, and as far as possible not disturb the nature. That's how we are now increasing the area from sanctuaries to national park. The national park is highest status, and where we are not supposed to um, involve any human activity. This is how our responsibility lies, not only the forest department, the whole the administration. We first starting of protection of environment is making the land as a forest, then making the land as a sanctuary, then making the land as a national park. So once you become a national park, it is all human related activities are totally stopped. So that is how we are going to protect the environment and to cooperate with the environment, and we see that the food chain and the web of life is not broken. The web of life is very important. Even a tiny insect has a role in the web of life. That's what I was telling about the uh, dung fly. One have to concentrate, and zoos are the main source of information to show the animal and tell about the animal and tell about the importance of animal. So the modern zoo started uh, giving awareness program, not simply by information boards. So there are interactive boards, interactive information, so that the informations are conveyed properly and they reach the all level of people. That's how the zoo play a major role, not only for students, but common for people, politicians, or illiterate people. For all level of people, they are when they are visiting zoo, they know the importance of wildlife in different styles, in different forms. That's how the zoo play a major role, and thereby creating awareness in people, of all level of people. So then there comes this latest thing. I am very much interested in propagating the idea of biomimicry. People must know the value of the wildlife for different needs, not for I was telling about the medical needs or the food needs. Beyond that, the nature will give information and come forward to help us to solve many of the problems, because the latest evolved animal is a human being. There are animals evolved millions, and they might have faced all hurdles in their lifetime. Of course, in our lifetime, we first hurdle was the COVID. This is this human population facing. Such so many COVID and other might have occurred a long time back in the history, the million history of wildlife, fauna and flora. And with all these things, they become resistant and come still uh, living means they might have faced all these hurdles, and they have the solution for this. I want to emphasize here is we can get any solution for all our problems from the wild. Emphasis here. We can get any solution for our welfare or for our life from the nature, because nature is the best teacher. Not simply saying respect nature. We can get any solution any type of solution from nature, we closely observe the nature, because I was telling earlier that they came across, faced all the hurdles and evolved, and they have the resistant power, and they evolved the survival, and they evolved the present level of pressure and surveying. So we can get the information from the wildlife, including plants and animals. So we can this wildlife act as a physician. The wildlife act as an engineer. The wildlife, we can get information as a sociologist. You can get even business ideas from the wildlife. There is now we are talking about the teamwork. How a teamwork should be. Ask nature. This is the biomimicry, and we started a club here, and it is popular in European countries. And the biomimicry program, it is we are giving more emphasis. Learn from nature. Whatever the unsolved, because everyday problems are coming um, day by day, and we do not know. Even for COVID 19, we don't have solution, but definitely there is solution from nature. Ultimately, it will come from nature only. Uh, Take it from my talk that one day people will be surprised that we have got a solution for all type of diseases, like including cancer or diabetes, or including this COVID. We can get the solution from nature, because when we human beings are affected, there are animals, they are not affected. You have to ask the nature, why you are not affected by COVID, and they will give solution. For example, a very interesting example from elephants. I attended a seminar in Singapore, and there was some paper that tells about the elephant biology. Elephants, unlike many animals, elephants are not affected by cancer. Rarely they are affected by cancer. Why? Many animals are including human beings, affected by cancer. Why not elephants? Ask elephants. They will give answer. What is the medicine for cancer? Because they are not affected by cancer. When they are find out, the scientists find out, they have got nearly 16 pair of P53 gene. P53 one pair. That is the responsible for um, uh, killing all, saving our cells, and killing all unwanted entrants, viruses, or metabolic affects everything. Whenever there is wrong in metabolic thing by a cell, the P53 gene induced, induced, and it will kill. That's how it protect the human cell environment. So by producing, by having a pair of P53 gene, we are not able to, when it's mutated, it cannot do that function. So when we have more pair of 53 gene, we can very well protect our body from any type of disease, because it is in the 53 is active. So there is solution. There may be a solution coming from animals, by studying the animal biology, how these animals are protecting from the other diseases. We can definitely get a solution for all type of diseases. It is readily available, ready made, because this is one example I want to give. Um, the interesting example, how medicine, how a disease which is not having any solution from the present day medicine is getting, we can possible to get the solution from nature, from wildlife. So let me see. Even I was talking about elephant. What about tiny insects like um, the ants? These ants, when how they are protecting their body from the other fungus or other infections. People are searching for reasons. They found that some of the ants affected by fungus, they actually take the hydrogen peroxide solutions. Other normal ants, they don't take. The hydrogen peroxide is taken by only infected insects. So they know these medicines. There is a gift of the nature. So but then they started studying what is the importance of the hydrogen peroxide. So the hydrogen peroxide has got a wide variety of solutions for different diseases. Even the hydrogen peroxide is given to cancer patients. So these are the ways we have to find out solutions from nature. It's readily available. Nowadays we are getting solutions from in a circuitous route by as if we are so much genius than nature. We are finding for the past 20 years or 30 years, there is no solution for cancer. So this is the time for the biologist to come forward to give an idea how to give solutions for various type of logical study how perfectly being evolved among animals. I can give so many hundreds of examples of that. Now people started studying the functional morphology of animals. When we are studying that, simply we talk about the uh, types of beaks, types of feathers, all these things. How it applied, how it is playing the main role in the animal need. That once we study that, that can be applied. So the best example, there are several examples of how to biological perfection has been obtained. This has been evolved over millions of years. Now we are simply applying the fact uh, within a short time. This has been evolved over millions of years ago. For example, this is many of you are aware that the beak and head of the kingfisher bird. This is taken. They have when the kingfisher bird is forcefully entered into water, there is no much splash of water, so it smoothly gets into the water and like the fish. So the precision of the beak and the head is very um, finely tuned, so that there is no friction, much friction. So they scientist and one biologist and an engineer joined together and they found out they modified the face of the bullet train. It is when it's passing through a tunnel, there are huge noise, even tunnel started cracking. So that was a big problem. So how to make it smooth when smoothly get into the tunnel, they modified the front portion of the bullet train, similar to the kingfisher bird. No, surprisingly, there is a considerable reduction in the friction. So this is the way. There is another applied value of thing is we come across the windmill. Windmill when force of wind is slow, the wind the fan will not rotate. So how to rotate the fan with a simple wind force? And that they got from the whales. The whales paddle like appendages. They have tubercles in their appendages. The tubercles are present. Where that make we do not know the precision of these all these structures. They make the animal to smoothly flow without much friction. So they adopted the same perfection in the windmill wing also. So even a small amount of force of wind can rotate the. So by that means they are uh, they uh, they are able to get more energy. So there are so now people are very seriously thinking of getting solutions from the wild. So my request to all the biologists and even engineers come go into nature, find out the interesting features or interesting things in, happening in nature, and how we can adapt this nature's principle to our welfare. Um, this is not only for biologists, any engineer or anybody can have the aptitude for research, can seek for the solutions. Then there are so many, when we talk of the uh, biomimicry, I can talk separate session on biomimicry. So due to the lack of time, I stop this. Just I um, induced you to think differently about the nature and they highlight the importance of nature and nature's principle to other people. So this is there are business ideas also. I published some of the papers how business ideas one can get from the nature's cooperation. There are relationship with the nice relationship with the ants and the acacia plants. So by this association, the plants also get benefited. At the same time, web of life one depending on the other, and how harmoniously they are living. Yeah, these such ideas give us the idea of how to go for outsourcing. Lastly, I want to go for the teamwork. Teamwork is a very important aspect of any management. The scientists have found out that how perfection teamwork in the migration of birds. In the migration of birds, if you come across the movement of the intercontinental migrating birds, they form a V shape. By going V shape, the front animal, the front bird is getting highest friction. The animals, the birds which are following in the V shape, that they get save the energy about 70 depending on the flight. So this is a very interesting thing that even we can see some of the Air Force flights are moving in a V-shaped manner. So the flight going faint will not have much energy to need not spend much energy to spend when you are following the V shape. This is the principle. And apart from that, there are the leadership. How to leadership should be the front, the bird which is going to front, it's act as a leader. After some time, it will come back. The another bird will take care of it. We come across in our lifetime and in our we want to be leaders. So leadership is changed, and there is a share of um, workload among the people. So a perfect teamwork one can see from the migratory birds, and there is a separate talk on this. If you go on the net and all, you can find a very interesting example of how teamwork should be. So this is how I want to emphasize the all group of people to know um, about the animals and the life and the plant life, the importance of all these things. So thank you very much for patiently hearing. Hope my talk will be little, at least some useful to trigger your brain to think differently on the value of wildlife. Thank you very much. So any question and answer session is there? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Paul sir, I have a question for you.
Yes,
This is
yes, sir.
Dr. Manoj Burkar from Goa. If you may just allow me one question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Paul sir, for a very interesting and unconventional presentation.
Oh, thank you very much.
All,
Thank you very much.
I was very curious to know you highlighted a lot of these scientific values of wildlife, but I presume wildlife also has, besides ecological values, it has got economic, ethical, aesthetic,
Exactly.
spiritual, cultural values. And I think in India in particular, the bedrock of our Indian culture has been that of respect to wildlife. So I believe
Yeah.
in conservation science, we get inspired by Aldo Leopold's lifeboat ethics
Yeah.
that irrespective of all these spin-offs that we can learn from wildlife as you've been highlighting, they all have a right to live and coexist with us on this planet.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
believe as Indians we should uphold that conservation ethos.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And also, sir, the communities that are integral part of the wildlife habitats, in the way they celebrate their feasts and the seemingly primitive cultural response, they all replete with conservation ethos. You look at
Yeah.
any ecological tribe.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
comments, please.
Yeah. We have to go back now because of the modernization and the copying the culture of the European and the other countries.
Right,
That
sir.
is only spoiled our thing.
Yes.
Already, yeah, our ancestors have had a very perfect life with the nature. Whatever we are doing, to go with the nature. So when
So
we go deviated from nature, all the problems came. This is because of the introduction of the European culture. Uh, we have a perfect life system in Indian culture. Thank you very much.
I think Dr. Palraj,
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning.
I am Satyanarayana from Chennai.
Yeah.
Actually, your presentation on the biomimic and the biological perfections, actually, your sensitized, especially the zoology teachers. The
Yeah.
zoology teachers must come forward to make the curricular transformation. Like
Yes,
these
yes,
topics,
yes.
biomimic, biological should be included in their curriculum. So that it will be very interesting. We can make zoology as a very
Yes,
interesting and attractive.
especially when we are going on tour in wildlife areas, they can search for observe nature, and they can get more ideas when they are seeing certain new interesting things. So they trigger the brain, and they can make use of the visit the wildlife areas. Um, People think differently, and that is the objective of my talk. So simply seeing the animals, so we have to observe even the morphology, physiology, and the applied aspects of each and every animals and plants. That's very important. Thank you, Dr. Satina. Anything?
Coach, Chairperson, Dr. Saurabh Chaudhary, sir.
Chairperson is it available? He is available.
Saurabh Chaudhary, sir.
Again, Mishra ji,
Co-chair Anup Das.
I have a small doubt. I was talking
Yes.
about this Dr. Satinaran also. I think all our talks will be compiled, and you'll be producing some CD like or in a software form in future.
Yes, sir.
That is
Our
very important.
our institute already collect this matter in YouTube, sir.
Oh,
And
very great, very.
yes, sir. And after the session, uh, I am request to all eminent speaker, please provide me 4 to 5 page script for complete the proceeding of webinar.
Oh, great. Okay. And that's very important because it's not
Yes,
stop
sir.
at that level. It should be
Our,
recorded in the form of
yes, sir.
YouTube or any software form. Whenever we
Uh,
feel like hearing somebody's, they can open it and hearing it.
yes, yes,
So we can make use of the sophisticated thing already available. Yes.
YouTube and book form,
Yeah, book form.
both,
Yeah.
sir. Yes.
Thank you. I am very much appreciating
Uh,
your service. I was talking with Satyanarayana how it is in a college is able to do coordinate so many people throughout India uh, and get the things done. So very interesting, very much appreciable. I really congratulate you, Mr. Raji, for your sincere effort. I know what it is. When you are arranging for a seminar like this, you are able to coordinate all the people around India and doing such a wonderful service. I am really proud of you, Mr. Raji. Congratulations, and your work should
thank you,
go
sir.
on like
Thank you,
this.
sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Anup Das. Hello. Dr. Anup Das, co-chair of the session. K.S. Anup Das, sir. Anup Das, co-chair of the session, Anup Das. Dr. Professor Anup Das.
Oh, it's talking, but it's not audible. Voice is,
नहीं टाइम में तो थे वो, हाँ, अनूप दास। ओके सर, तो
Okay, so we can close it, you know.
thank you sir for
Thank you very much.
delivered a nice talk on conservation uh, and some other important aspects. So please thanks for your valuable valuable time in this webinar and uh, provide very important information for our audience, our teachers, and participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Misraji. I congratulate you again, and you go forward and all your.
Now, next session, uh, chairperson Sanjay A. Srivastav, IFS, formerly PCC of Apex, Tamil Nadu. Shri Sanjay Srivastav, sir.
Yeah, very good
Welcome,
morning to
sir.
all of you.
Yes. Co-chairperson Dr. Anirudh Mazumdar, scientist, MPSFRI, Jabalpur. Welcome, Dr. Anirudh.
Welcome and very good afternoon to all of you.
Yeah. Eminent speaker Dr. N. Senthil Kumar, IFS, Field Director, KM Tiger Reserve, Tamil Nadu. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Okay, good morning to all of you. Thank you.
Now I am request to Sri Sanjay Srivastav, sir. Please chair the session and introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. N. Senthil Kumar, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mishra, and good morning to all of you. And it's heartening to see such a vibrant webinar happening in this on Sunday morning, which normally it's not there in the government frame of rules, because sitting on Sunday and working hard and speaks a lot about the interest which is there. And luckily, I have been asked to introduce Dr. N. Senthil Kumar, who I know him very well because he's from my cadre, and presently he's working in a place which I had held some decades back, worked as field here from Dr. Senthil Kumar. But before coming to the actual presentation, Dr. Senthil Kumar, basically, he's from 2006 batch of IFS and belongs to Nagaland cadre. And he's presently on inter-cadre deputation to Tamil Nadu. And I do remember that how we facilitated these inter-cadre deputations, and Dr. Senthil NDRI Karnal in 2004. So on animal nutrition. So basically, he is appropriate person who should be there in the wildlife sector and dealing with the protected area management. So, but to Tamil Nadu, he had a very glorious tenure in Nagaland, where he worked as assistant conservator of forest in Dimapur Forest Division. And we know Nagaland in northeastern region full of challenges. And as divisional forest officer in Peren district and DCF in social forestry division of Kohima, doing the good working plan of Kohima division, he brought out a lot of planning related changes in the state of Nagaland. And he worked as a conservative forest in the Southern Territorial Circle of Kohima, along with providing his research and planning inputs in Nagaland in Dimapur place. And basically he had a very, I would say, went very close to the nature when he worked as a member secretary of Nagaland State Biodiversity Board. So probably that was the time where he brought out a lot of changes in the biodiversity sector itself. And in Tamil Nadu for the last few years, I have seen him working very hard in as DFO in Thoothukudi, and even in as DFO and wildlife warden in Tirunelveli, where in fact I happened to meet him and regarding some official related works, and could see his interest. Very soft and sweet officer, and probably rightly placed in one of the southernmost tiger reserve of the country, and it will be interesting to know to hear a talk on Kalakat Mundurai Tiger Reserve. And besides that, I would like to welcome our co-chair, the Dr. Anirudh Majumdar, whom I can see on the screen smiling, and he is basically a scientist from Madhya Pradesh State Forest Research Institute, and probably Dr. Senthil Kumar, my request would be that it's a beautiful area. Let the presentation be brief for half an hour or so, and then we can take some questions also on the area, because lot many people would be seeing KMTR from your eyes for the very first time. Over to Dr. Senthil Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, it's a great honor and privilege to be introduced by our former Chief Wildlife Warden of Tamil Nadu, PCF and Chief Wildlife Warden. And also, it's in two aspects, it's very important, sir, because sir is a PCF and Chief Wildlife Warden of Tamil Nadu for his tenure, and he has a passion about the wildlife that I come to know to the day of his retirement. So many speakers talk about his passion towards the wildlife and conservation, his efforts he took for conserving the wildlife in Tamil Nadu. Second, Sar has worked as a field director in the same where I am working now, in the Kalakadu Mundandurai Tiger Reserve. So it's a great honor to be introduced by our former PCF and Chief Wildlife Warden of Tamil Nadu. Thank you, sir. Let me directly go to the presentation, sir. Thank you, sir. Kalakadu Mundandurai Tiger Reserve. We see the brief history. It's a
Yeah, slide is visible. Either you put on the yeah, yes, click it first.
see the beast nearing to the tiger sanctuary. It's a step in and 1976 record as wildlife sanctuary in Macau. 1988 tiger reserve declared 70 tiger reserve in the India and the first tiger reserve in Tamil Nadu. In the year 2002, Kilamalai and Veerapi part of Kanyakumari division was brought to the Kalakadu Mundandurai Tiger Reserve. So, in 2005, the Kalakadu Mundandurai Tiger Reserve full area has been declared as Agasthyar Malai Biosphere Reserve. In the year 2007, The full area 890 square kilometer is the core area of the critical tiger habitat. In the year 2012, the buffer area has been declared. It comprises of both forest buffer as well as the eco development buffer. The UNESCO has recognized the KMTR as declared as a World Natural Heritage Site in the year 2012. In the year 2016, it has been recognized as a World Network of Biosphere Reserve. So this KMTR is comprised of two divisions. One is Ambasamutram, another one is the Kalakadu. It's one of the global biodiversity hotspot in the Western Ghats. If we see the area wise, the Mundanthura Sanctuary is comprised of 567 square kilometer, and it's notified in the year 1962. Kalakad is comprised of 223 square kilometer, and Veerapayan Kilmalai of comprised of 104 square kilometer. Totally, it comprises of around 895 square kilometer. It comprises of Nellai Wildlife Sanctuary. Around it's around 40,000 square kilometer, 40,000 hectares. In the southern side, it comprises of Kanyakumari Wildlife Sanctuary. On the eastern side, this comprises of eco development buffer. It's around 5 to 6 square kilometer from our boundary of the core area. The area of eco development buffer is 469 square kilometer. So if you see the total area of KMTR, including the buffer, it comprises around 1,600 square kilometer. The KMTR comprises of 12 forest types. Out of that, the major forest type is the southern tropical wet evergreen forest. It comprises of around 30% of our area. Second, it comprises of dry mixed deciduous forest and also moist mixed deciduous forest. Besides the other 8 type of forests present in the KMTR. If we see the elevation zonations, KMTR comprises of from 400 meter to 1,800 meter mean sea level. Most of the area is falling within the 400 to 600 meter, and also up to 1,400 meter areas are spread out significantly. The important significance of KMTR is concerned. KMTR comprises of 400 square kilometer of contiguous evergreen forest, which acts as a potential catchment area for most of the rivers which are originating from KMTR. It's declared it is called as a river sanctuary because 14 rivers, the major river being the Tamarabarni is originated in the KMTR, which caters the water, which acts as a water source for agriculture purpose as well as for drinking water purpose for the 5 districts of the southern Tamil Nadu, and 11 dams are present the area. And Tamarabarni is being the perennial river. It's originate in the KMTR area. It's so it's called as a river sanctuary. This is the various dams which are present in the KMTR area, like Kariyar Dam and Servalaru Dam, Kadana Dam, Upper Kodiyar Dam. This is the Upper Kodiyar Reservoir, which comprises of many islands, which acts as a easy sighting area for wild animals, including the tiger. The biological significance of KMTR is concerned. Being the 12 forest types are present here, It's the biodiversity hotspot in the Western Ghats. Very high level of endemism is present here. It hosts more than 150 medicinal plants. The major faunal species found are tiger, elephant, Nilgiri thor, long-tailed macaque. These are the various forest types present there. And as per the Gambert's record, out of the 1,256 genera and 4,390 species present in the Madras state, which has been recorded by Gambert's record, in the KMTR alone, it harbors around 872 genera, 2,105 species, and out of that, 68 species are strictly endemic to KMTR. It's the same the area wise as well as the Western Ghats wise, Tamil Nadu wise, and the KMTR, how many flora and its families are harboring, and its richness of KMTR and floral diversity is expressed here. The faunal diversity is concerned, the fishes around 47 species, amphibians around 46 species, reptiles around 88 species, birds around 337 species, and mammals 79 species are found. The lion-tailed macaque, it's mostly found in the Kalakadi area as well as in the upper Kodayar, and Nilgiri langur and common langur and these slender loris. All 5 primates are found in Western Ghats are present in the KMTR.